Thanks for coming tonight. Our whole goal here is to provide some information, especially for you seniors and your families, to get you prepared to go off to college, get some understanding of what you can do financially and what those options are. We're going to begin tonight with Jessica Summer from the Mount Pleasant Community Foundation. We'll hit her up here in just a second. I did want to introduce you to a web page that I've created. The purpose of the web page is try to make a one-stop shop for all the various things that you might want to look into from a parent's standpoint and from a student standpoint. Within this web page, and there's a little handout as you come in that's got the web address on it. It's onwardshepherd.weebly.com, and in it you can go to senior information, and even under there there's cost calculators for going to college, how do you determine your majors, and lots of other information. But as you scroll down, there's a link to scholarships. And this will take you to a page that has all of the Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation scholarships. And when you click on any one of those, it will take you to the application page. I'm going to stop talking. At this time, we're going to bring Jessica Summer from the Mount Pleasant Community Foundation. Thank you for coming.
You take my whole spiel, so. I wanted to first point out, one of your handouts is a booklet called The Legacy. Here at the Community Foundation, we publish one of these annually, kind of like our yearbook. And so it does talk about some of the great things that we do that are available. But for tonight, I want to show you two main things. The first is on the inside cover. It has our contact information. You're a little unique. Your own website here, but this information and some commonly asked questions are on our website as well under our scholarship tab. The back page, if you open it up, just kind of gives you an idea of last year. Currently this year we have 96 scholarships available for our local community. And I will show you right now the ones that are available for Shepherd. So if you go to your website, all of the ones listed here in alphabetical order are the ones that are available for Shepherd High School students. So I will just click on one just to show you. Let's see, we'll do this really boring. If you click on any of the scholarships, it'll take you to the link to our website that has a brief description on the scholarship. So what made the scholarship come to light, as well as the award amount for 2016, and that's going to vary based on scholarship, anywhere from $500 to $2,500 to $3,000. And then it gives you some of the criteria. You know, graduating senior from Mount Pleasant or from Shepherd High School, GPA of 3.25 or greater, some leadership, some athletics, those kinds of things might be listed in their community service on some. Financial need, this one says expressed in applicant's essay. What we do, some scholarships you have to show that you've applied for FAFSA, what your expected amount for Pell is and those kinds of things. For us, we just, you know, write your need in the essay. So let us know what's going on in life. So if you were interested in applying for the scholarship, you would click on Apply Online. And this takes you to the information on how to apply. The system is live right now. It was live in January, and the deadline is 4 p.m. on Friday, March 4th. And last year we had some trouble with that, not from this district, but please don't wait until 3:59 to try to hit submit or to try to get your transcript request, which I'll show you in a minute.
We can't emphasize that enough.
Last year,
every year it happens.
Yes.
And we wait to the last second, and we've even had to take a card and run them up there to hand deliver them 15 minutes past the deadline. So try to think of it ahead of time. Also, we're going to try to have some time available at school, if we can arrange it, to allow seniors to come down and maybe work on those scholarship applications during school. We're still in the process of trying to make that happen.
Especially with weather. I know that sometimes last year we had a weather day, I think the day before the deadline, and so parents and students were calling in a panic because their transcript hadn't been uploaded from the academic advisor. So just something to keep in mind. So there's a button here with frequently asked questions, and it'll list all those things. How do I apply? Am I eligible? Does it cost anything to apply? And the answer is no. And then below that, apply for a scholarship. This is our online scholarship system. So it used to be in the past, if you wanted to, let's say, apply for 5 scholarships through our foundation, you'd actually have to fill out 5 applications, make copies of each of those, and hand deliver or mail a huge stack to us. To try to make it user-friendly for the applicant and for the school, and to save paper, this online system, you only have to do 1 application, and then there's a section that allows you to say which ones you want to be considered for, and write essays for each of those. So the first time you go to this site, you will create a new account. So it is going to ask your, general information and an email and a password. And then once you have that, my husband doesn't know it, but he's our example here. You will log in, and then this year there are three available ones to choose. If you have a student or know somebody who is already in college, they would want to look at our advanced training or returning to education. But for this population, graduating senior is the one that you'd like to pick. Also, Shepherd is unique in the fact that you have the Lemmer Music Scholarship that's available for junior high and high school students before December 31st of their graduating year. So if you have a younger student that's interested in that scholarship, they would click the music application on the top. We just made that smaller so younger students didn't have to go through as much. So I'm going to show you the graduating senior. Again, to make it user-friendly, there's just these little icons, so general information, education information, school and community activities, academic honors, any work experience, so if you have a job somewhere, references, available scholarships, and I'll just show you general information. Name, date of birth, address, very simple information. Once you fill this out, you would hit save and return to dashboard, and as you can see that says 11%. As you do the work, all the icons will turn to 100%. What's nice about this system is that you don't have to sit down and complete it all at one time. As long as you're saving, you can log back in before the deadline and keep working on that. For references, we are not uploading reference letters, just the name and relationship and phone number to 2 people. And that's if our scholarship committee has any questions, or maybe they're between 2 candidates and they want to do a reference check, they could contact those people. But again, we ask that you let them know ahead of time so they are prepared. And then I'll show you the 2 most important ones. The largest section is available scholarships. And what's really good is if you go to the Onward Shepherd site, you'll see the ones that Shepherd High School students are eligible for. So you're going to want to make some notes of which ones you want to apply to, because once you come to this site, all of the available scholarships for graduating seniors are there. And so you're going to have to decide which one you want to apply for. So for instance, the art scholarship, that is one that is available for Shepherd High School students. So if you meet this criteria and you're eligible and interested, you would click yes, like it's checked here. Once you click yes, the essay box opens up and you can write that essay specific for that application or for that scholarship. Another reason we did that instead of one general essay is our scholarship committee and board members were having a hard time really trying to see if that student fit that criteria, because they were just, applicants were just writing a very generic essay. So this allows you to specifically talk about your plans and passion for art, for instance. So if I decided no, that's not one that I wanted to apply for, if I clicked no, the essay box disappears, and then you just keep going to the next one, just to kind of give you an idea there. It's very important at the bottom, at each time that you hit save, and not just back out, because it won't save your information. And then the part that Mr. Ross will come into play is the request section. And so you will get a transcript uploaded by the school, but it's not anything that you have to go in person to ask for. You're not going to get a paper copy. And you're not even going to actually email the request. You're going to send an email through the system. So what happens is you will click on Academic Information Request to Guidance Counselor, and you're going to need to put your counselor's name and email in. And to make it easy, the local schools are listed above, so you could literally copy and paste Mr. Ross's email, put it in, and hit email request, and he will get an email. That email will prompt him to electronically upload for you and get that done. Although it is the last section, let me show you. Although it's the last section here, it doesn't have to be the last one. You can do these in any order. So I actually recommend to people, do that first, get it out of the way. Like Mr. Ross said, who knows, you know, he could have meetings. It could be a weather day. There could be a computer system problem, something. So you can do that at any time. And what's nice is here it shows you 2 percentage bars, 2 status bars. So once you've requested that, that top bar will go to 100%. Once he's received that and uploaded, you will see that, and so you'll be at a full 100%, and so you will know that it's gone through. Once all of your sections are at 100% and you are ready, you can go up to the top and hit that red final review and submit button. It allows you to just do a look through to make sure that everything is ready to go. Once you hit submit, you can't turn back, so give yourself some time. You know, the deadline's not until March 4th, so something to think about there. Any questions?
One last thing. Every year, there are some scholarships from the Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation where we don't give students to take the initiative to apply for it. The money's there. They want to give it out, but we have a hard time getting the students to actually apply for them. And we've even gone out and told the students, and fill it out, you'll get it. So please, take some time, look those over, and take some time and apply for them. You have a very good chance of getting some of these scholarships.
We've even had students and parents say, oh, that might take me 2 hours. Well, even if it's a $500 scholarship, let alone higher, I'll work for $250 an hour any day. So something to keep in mind. And like I said, this online system is user-friendly and actually makes it easier to apply for multiple ones. So you don't really have to pick and choose. Maybe I only have time for 1 or 2. You can really look at all the ones that you might be eligible for and go for it. My contact information, like I said, is in that book, and I've left some cards. Anytime between the deadline, if you have questions on the application, give me a call or send me an email. If you've started an account, I can log in as the admin user and maybe see where you might have a question or any snags. So just let me know. All right? Thank you.
Well, I wanted to thank Jessica for her time to come in tonight. But ladies and gents, also on, the little concrete wall over there is the reminder of that website that Mr. Ross created, the onboardshepherd.weebly.com. And they're just going straight to the senior information, the scholarships. It's going to be a lot quicker and easier to navigate. So please make sure you grab one of these before you exit. Okay. Well, also tonight, we have some representatives here from Mid-Michigan Community College. So they're partnering with us. We have been working very closely with them, with our dual enrollment students. Not just exclusively with MID, but we have a pretty strong partnership with them, and we asked a couple individuals to come speak about the financial aid ins and outs, because that's not my number one, cup of tea. So we are here. We're very fortunate to welcome to the stage Ms. Heather Zemanek and Anita West. Please come on up, ladies.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anita West, and I'm a financial aid officer at Mid-Michigan Community College. And this is Heather Zemanek. We're going to talk to you about finding money for college. And basically, we're going to just be giving you an overview of federal student aid, state student aid from colleges, and scholarships from other sources. So we'll answer a few basic questions. What is financial aid? Who can get it? How much can I get? How do I apply? What happens next? And where can I get more information? So first, what is financial aid? Financial aid is any money that you would use to pay for college or career school. It includes grants such as the Pell Grant, scholarships, as was explained just a few moments ago. Those items are free money that you don't have to pay back. Work study, that is when you work and earn money just like a job at the college that you're attending, and that helps offset your financial aid package. And then loans, which have to be repaid. And I just have a quick video here to show you kind of an overview of the financial aid process itself. And it did work earlier, so.
So you want to go to college or career school. Maybe you've started saving early. Maybe you'll discover some buried treasure. But more likely, you'll need another plan. So if paying for college is going to fall on your shoulders, the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Federal Student Aid is the best place to turn for assistance. I bet you didn't know that we're the largest provider of grants, loans, and work-study funds, all of which are easy to apply for. And when it is time to apply for aid, head to your favorite spot to complete the free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA. Each January, a new FAFSA is available for the upcoming school year, and completing it is free when you go to the official site, fafsa.gov. Your selected colleges will use the information on your FAFSA to figure out how much aid you'll get, so make sure your info is accurate. But if you need to, you can go back and make some changes. If you get a grant or a work-study job, congrats, you won't have to pay the money back. However, a federal loan is borrowed money, and you'll need to promise to repay it. Remember to borrow only what you need, because a federal student loan is a real loan. Just like with a car or home loan, it's important that you understand what you're agreeing to. Although college, financial aid, and the prospect of an instant noodle diet can be a little overwhelming, you'll be putting yourself on the path to success when you take the time to plan out your options and let the Office of Federal Student Aid help you along the way. If you have questions or need more information, please visit studentaid.gov.
Okay, so who can get federal student aid? You must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, be a high school graduate or GED holder. You must be pursuing an eligible degree or certificate program, have a valid SOCH number. Males must register for selective service, and you must follow or be meeting your institution's satisfactory academic progress policy. Every institution has an SAP policy, and typically the goal is for you to complete your degree with at least a C average or better and complete 67% or 2/3 of the credits that you complete, or that you attempt, sorry. So how much federal student aid can I get? This depends. Your financial need is determined when you complete the FAFSA. So how many of you are familiar with the FAFSA already or have done the FAFSA? And it's my understanding that a lot of you seniors have created an FSA ID already and password. Have you done that? Okay, we'll touch on that just a little bit too. So when you do the FAFSA, you're entering your demographic information, your family size, your tax information, and all of that goes into a formula that determines what your expected family contribution amount is, or how much, based on that information, the federal government says that you should be able to contribute towards your college education. Cost of attendance is different at every college. It's a budget, actually. So the difference between those two things is your financial need. So you have your cost of attendance minus your expected family contribution equals your need. And that's kind of what this slide explains. Cost of attendance includes things such as tuition, fees, room and board, transportation, personal expenses, books, that kind of thing. So how much federal student aid can I get? So this is an example of a first-year student for the upcoming 16-17 academic year. The Pell Grant, we have a figure right now. It's not written in stone yet, but for 16-17, a full Pell Grant is $58.45, and that's based on full-time attendance for someone with a 0 expected family contribution. So that is the maximum amount of Pell Grant. You may get less than that, depending on that expected family contribution amount, and depending on whether you're less than full-time also, it gets prorated. The Teach Grant, $4,000. A federal Stafford loan for a first-year dependent student is $5,500. There's also another grant called the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, and those amounts vary by college, with a maximum up to $4,000 annually. The Federal Work-Study Program, that depends on the funding available at the institution that you attend. And for work-study, each institution has its own system for students to apply for those jobs. So it's just like a real job. You would be called for an interview and scheduled, and they would work around your class schedule. That's what makes one of the things about work-study so nice, is you would be working right at the school, and they know your schedule, and they have to work around that. There's also the Federal Plus Loan for parents. Parents can also take out a loan for their students. And if there's a gap in that need, parents have that option. So for an early estimate, you could go to the FAFSA forecaster. It's just like doing the FAFSA, but it's not really the FAFSA. You just put everything in, and it kind of gives you an idea of what that expected family contribution amount would be and how much aid you might be expecting. So there's also a few programs that the state of Michigan has. There's the Michigan Competitive Scholarship for 16-17. The amount is $575 per year at a Michigan public college or university. It's more than that if you go to an independent or private college or university. In 15-16, that amount was $1,830, and I don't have the figure for 16-17 for the competitive or independent college or university. The Michigan Tuition Grant is for use at private colleges. That's up to $1,512 per year. Tuition Incentive Program, that's up to 24 tuition credits per year. And students who were on Medicare for a 2-year period can be eligible for the TIP program, and you would be notified via a letter from the state of Michigan. There's also the Michigan Indian Tuition Waiver that waives all tuition at public colleges. So some additional resources for scholarships include your high school counseling office, college admissions offices and websites, community organizations such as Rotary Club or Lions Club, those types of things, churches. And then also here a couple of free scholarship search services. If you are going to mid, we also do have an online application on our website, and our application period is open from January 1st to March 31st. Very simple process, so if you are coming to mid, that's available there as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Heather now.
Okay, so how do I apply for financial aid? You start with the FAFSA, which is the pre-application for federal student aid. I would encourage you, it is available to do paper format, but it's discouraged. It takes about 8 weeks if you do it in a paper format versus if you go online, it's usually processed within a couple of weeks. I would point out the state deadline for the FAFSA is March 1st. So to qualify for maximum consideration on those state grants that Anita was talking about, which is the Michigan Tuition Grant, things like that, you would want to have it done by the end of February. So I would say February 20th or so, get working on that. I do want to stress one more time, but it is a free application for federal student aid, so if you get to a site that's asking you for money to submit this, you are at the wrong website, and we won't even receive that. So definitely make sure that you're at the appropriate website. Okay, so you start out by creating that FAFSA ID, which it sounds like many of you have done already. You can do that at fsaid.ed.gov, or right on the FAFSA website, there's also a link. And that will serve as your electronic signature for both the parent and the student. You don't want to share that with anyone because, again, it would provide all of your personal information. So keep that FSA ID private. Also, when you're creating your FSA ID, it's a username and password, and you have to use an email address. That email address can only be used for one FSA ID. So if you have a household email that you're using, your student and the parent can't both use that same email address. So that's one kind of tricky thing with that. For those of you that are still not comfortable doing everything electronically, there is a FAFSA on the web worksheet, which we brought tonight, and that will allow you basically to write everything down exactly as it will appear on the FAFSA. And then once you're comfortable with the paper format, you can go and then put the information on the FAFSA. So that is available to you. And the link is also available if you didn't get one here tonight. This is what the home page will look like for the FAFSA. And again, the link for the FAFSA ID is there. Or you can access it, like I said before, the fsaid.ed.gov. Once you've done all that, you'll simply click the Start Here button, and you'll just proceed through all of the basic questions. I will point out one thing as you're going through the FAFSA. When you get to the financial section of the FAFSA, if you've already completed your taxes and it's been at least a couple of weeks, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to use the data retrieval tool. What that will do is it will link your taxes from the IRS to the FAFSA. And you'll just upload all of it. It's much easier, and also it could save time down the road if you get selected for verification, which I will touch on in just a moment. So definitely, if that option is available to you, please do so. Some people don't qualify, like if you are married filing separately, you have foreign tax returns, things like that. But for the most part, generally you qualify for it. The FAFSA takes about 25, 30 minutes to complete. It used to take an hour and a half or so. They've really streamlined it, so it is much easier. Make sure when you get all the way done that you hit the submit button. A lot of people miss that, and then it just kind of is hanging in limbo. So make sure you do that. And then once you've submitted your FAFSA, you're going to want to watch in your email. Within a few days, you should receive a student aid report. What that is that's your report of what you've submitted on your FAFSA. So you'll want to look it all over, make sure there's no errors. Also look for comments from the Department of Ed. If you do not see your EFC on there, most likely you probably missed signing it, or there's some other type of error. So definitely look for some comments on there. And then probably, it's hard to say with time frame, but probably late winter, early spring, be watching for correspondence from all of the schools that you put on your FAFSA. They will start sending you correspondence, whether it be letters of additional documentation that they need from you, or your award letter. So definitely watch the mail and respond quickly, because the sooner you respond, obviously the sooner you'll get your award letter, and you can start making those determinations. Also, I wanted to point out, if you're interested in several schools and some of you think they might just be out of reach, they're just way too much money, I would encourage you still to apply, because all all the schools have so many different packages. And a school that you might think is out of reach may offer you some great scholarship incentives. So definitely, I would say apply for them and just, once you get all of your award letters, then you can make that determination. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, verification. What that means is typically 30 to 50% of students that submit their FAFSAs get selected for verification. And what that is the government basically is asking the school to do an audit on that FAFSA. And what we could ask for could range from your tax return transcript, which as of a couple of years ago, it has to come officially from the IRS. So you have to request an official tax return transcript from the IRS, which can slow the process down. That's why I said if you have the option to use that data retrieval tool, make sure you do so, because that really speeds things up. It could be other things just as simple as just filling out a household size form. So it's kind of a grueling process if you get selected, but really if you just respond, we'll help you through it. So like I said, 30 to 50% of the students get selected for that. Just some resources for additional information if you're interested or you have questions about FAFSAs or scholarships. These are some great resources. Also, MID is a great resource. Even if you're not interested in coming to MID, feel free to stop in either location, Harrison or Mount Pleasant. Our door is always open. We're here to help you complete your FAFSA, answer any general questions that we can for you. So take advantage of that. A couple of FAFSA nights that are coming up. February 22nd, which is a Monday night at MID, both locations, 5:30 to 7. Parent and student can come, bring your tax returns, bring your social security numbers, your driver's license, and we will help you complete those FAFSAs. Or February 14th at Baker College in Cadillac from 2 to 4 is another workshop. And here's just the items, like I said, that you'll want to have handy when you are completing your FAFSA. Some tips. Basically, the biggest thing that I would say when you're completing your FAFSA, take your time, really read through, make sure that the biggest thing, make sure you put your social security number in right. A lot of people transpose numbers or they just hit the wrong key. It makes for a big headache. So definitely make sure your social security number is correct, your birth date is correct. And also, sometimes people put their last name in the first name box, their first name in the last name. So just be really careful and look at how you're typing the things in there. And then again, make sure you hit submit. That's another one that gets missed a lot. SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress. Anita touched on that a little bit earlier. Just want to remind you, once you receive financial aid at an institution, you have to maintain the grades and the completion ratio to continue to get that financial aid. So C average, 2/3 of your classes have to be completed, and you have to be progressing through that program of study. So some other things to think about. Also loan debt. I want to remind you, if you take out a student loan, loans do have to be paid back. And definitely live like a student while you're in college. Eat the ramen noodles, eat the mac and cheese. You'll be happy later that you didn't take out the max. Okay?
One other thing I'd like to mention too, Heather, is if you haven't already made your FSA ID password, it's a long process and there's a lot of detail involved. Make sure that you write things down as you're working on it. There are rules for creating a username and password. There are security questions. There are 4 of them. You have to come up with an important date. You'll want to write those things down when you create that, put it in a safe place, because if you ever forget your username or your password, you're going to have to know all of those things to retrieve it. So that's another key thing to remember if you haven't already done that.
One other resource that I want to point out, if you go to MID's website, so midmich.edu, and on our financial aid page, we have a plethora of financial aid TV clips. And what it is it's little YouTube clips of any question that you might possibly have about financial aid. And they're like 30 seconds to 3 minutes long, depending on what the topic is. So they're just really quick snippets of information. So that's a great resource. And that's all I have. If anyone has any general questions, we'll be happy to answer, or private questions, we'll be here for a little bit to answer anything.
You don't know, parents, all the seniors had the opportunity to get introduced to the FAFSA back in the fall. We had a college application day, and at that time we helped show them where to go and how to set up their password and username. So they should have that information available. But like they said, if you do have any questions, call the universities or colleges. Even if it's not the one you're going to, they love to help you with the process.